All right, Sector 4, here we go. Just an FYI, I got max rewards again without even having beaten SLKR. I did a couple of attempts on SLKR. My guys were, their endurance was kind of zapped, so it really didn't go anywhere. So instead, I just finished off every single other feat in all sectors and in the Conquest overall. And I exceeded the minimum required banners, we'll call it, in order to get max rewards. So I will, of course, attempt to do SLKR just for pride. Um, but I got max rewards, which is always nice, especially because some of the SLKR feats are going to be just impossible. Then again, I did think that the Ray feats were next to impossible. Got lucky and found a little bit better strategy, both from talking to friends and trying to figure shit out on my own. A lot of people you'll see later on use CLS with 3PO. I actually had better luck with CLS with Old Ben. So you'll see that in about 15 or so minutes. It's tough, man. I know a lot of people that are really, really frustrated. I was certainly one of them. Less so with Sector 5. Couple of missteps and misstarts. Losing a couple of banners here and there that I then, of course, have to go back and 3 out of 3 later on. But listen, it is you got plenty of time, right? Of course, I'm an asshole and I'm impatient, so I did refresh a few times. But you got plenty of time. When they cut it down to 1 week instead of 12 or 13 days or whatever the hell it is, then I'll worry a little bit more, and it'll probably be more likely that people will need to refresh. And it'll certainly mean, look, you don't want to spend your currency on stim packs, right? You want to save your currency for Ahsoka shards and or Razor Crest shards. So it'll force people to use more of their rosters, myself included. Ooh, I'm watching the Maple Leafs and Canadiens game, and the linesman almost just got nailed in a hit. Which would be pretty funny. I'm sad he didn't actually get hit. He just got out of the way. Yeah. Oh, so I'm a Rangers fan, but I'm pumped that the Islanders beat the Penguins because I hate the Penguins and I hate Sidney Crosby. Also, I am one of those guys that has New York pride. So whether it's Mets or Yankees, as long as we're not playing each other, I'm happy for either or both of them to win. Same thing with the Rangers and the Islanders. As long as they're not playing each other, I am happy for either or both to win. Obviously, if the Mets are playing the Yankees, I want the Mets to win. Sorry. I know that's a really unpopular position. And if the Rangers are playing the Islanders, of course, I want the Rangers to win. Which is actually odd because a lot of people are Mets, Islanders, Yankees, Rangers, but that's how I grew up. Oh, the Canadiens just scored. That's how I grew up. My dad had season tickets for Mets, Jets, Rangers at one point, through his company. Which nowadays, if you tried to do that, you'd be dropping $150,000 a year for season tickets, something like that. It was nowhere near those kinds of prices back when he had season tickets to all three. I remember he was really pissed off because his season tickets for the Mets, once they moved to Citi Field, went from 8,000 to like 40,000. Like, who the fuck can afford that? It's fucking crazy. So now we have none. Also, well, my dad's no longer with us, of course, but now we have none. We hadn't had any for quite some time. I think we gave up the Rangers tickets first because I wasn't into hockey when I was growing up, or rather when I was a teenager. I just watched baseball. Did not watch football. Never been a football fan. I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. especially once I found out that the total amount of actual gameplay amounts to about 17 minutes per game. I mean, that's garbage. If you hear a crunching sound in the background, that is Roxy going at her bone. She's a savage. I didn't even get a chance to look at the markets really a whole lot today. It ended up, that's all I know. I ended up, that's all I know. I was running around the field all day today, literally all day today. I got into the office, I got my breakfast, and then I immediately had to go out and did not get back to the office until like 7, so I did not get a chance to look at the markets. All I know is that they were up. I don't know why. I don't know what reasons. Oh, you know what? I did see that the unemployment number was good. I did see that flash, the news flash. They were pretty okay. So that's good. And then I did see another news flash that the Republicans countered the White House with a $930-something billion counter for infrastructure. Which, look, I mean, everybody's kind of slowly getting a little bit closer to each other. Hopefully they can come to some sort of an agreement, because realistically, most of the stuff, not all, a number of things that are points of contention with the Republicans that the Democrats want wouldn't be able to be passed as part of this bill through budget reconciliation, because a number of things are just, in a legal sense, not allowed to be on the docket if it's passed, or the attempted pass through budget reconciliation. Also, having done the COVID budget reconciliation, the latest COVID bill, I think it would be wise to try and find some bipartisanship in this next bill. Hopefully both sides can come to an agreement, a bipartisan agreement. The Republicans upped their offer a couple $100 billion, or no, $3.5 or $400 billion or something like that, and the Democrats came down about $550 billion. So look, that seems promising, right? They are definitely a couple non-starters for both sides, but I'm cautiously optimistic that they can come to some sort of an agreement, because there's so much shit that we have to sort out. By the way, yeah, you gotta be real careful with this Sith Empire battle. If you kill one, then they all go ape shit. There's so many more things that we as a country have to do on top of or beyond the infrastructure package. There's so many things. So the sooner we get that on the right track, the better, because there really are a lot of things that we have to take care of. Another reason why Ray Jawas is a fucking awesome team. Give me my Ahsoka shads. Give me my Ahsoka shads. Ordinarily, I would use Ray Jawas against a Geos team, but you have to get all these fucking focuses in, which is infuriating, because JKR Jedi are not always the best option. And then, of course, the more you use them, the weaker they get. So, yeah, ordinarily against Geos, I would be using Ray Jawas, because it's, yeah, you could fucking auto it. Yeah, so hopefully we can get this infrastructure thing going. Both sides have said they wanted infrastructure for so fucking long, it'd be nothing short of criminal, really, for them to not get something done when they both sides want an infrastructure bill. Sure, there are fundamental disagreements on what constitutes infrastructure, depending on which side you are. And I understand a good bit from both sides. While important, while very important, I don't think that child care and elderly care are infrastructure. I think there's a much better argument for better and wider broadband for internet connections. There's a much, much, much better argument for that than elderly or child care in an infrastructure bill. My personal opinion. I, again, agree that elderly and child care is a very important issue. Just personally, I don't see it as infrastructure. Infrastructure to me is roads, tunnels, bridges, even energy infrastructure, right? Because that's really fucking important. Power really should be like a fundamental right. You should not be without power. You should not be without water. Stuff like that. To me, that is fundamental infrastructure. You should not be without roads, bridges, tunnels. So I do understand, power and water utilities, be it pipelines, phone lines, power lines, that absolutely, unequivocally, in my opinion, should be included. Broadband is part of that. It's one thing if you cannot afford, Wi-Fi, if you cannot afford the $40, $50, $60 a month or whatever the hell it is. Because in New York, Verizon Fios is like $60 a month. I don't know how much it costs elsewhere. But if you can't afford that, that's one thing. But at the very least, you should have the ability to get Verizon Fios, Spectrum, any kind of high-speed internet. So I absolutely think that broadband infrastructure should be included in the infrastructure bill, because that's important. I mean, what can one possibly do with oneself if they don't have, at the very least, access to high-speed internet? Especially because so many phone companies are switching over to voice over IP. Sure, we have voice over LTE, 5G, but VoIP is huge. Huge. So, I think that is important. And again, like I said before, like if your kid needs to, which more often than not they will, needs to be able to at least have access to high-speed internet to do research, to do Zooms, to do any number of things. I mean, and also, not for nothing, textbooks are... I said this is not based on any statistic that I know. This is just me assuming, and I could be wrong, that printing textbooks and therefore buying textbooks is extremely expensive. I mean, I remember some textbooks in college that were over $100. That's not to say that, a digital textbook is going to be free, because it's not necessarily, but it's much easier to find information on the internet, right? I mean, you can literally search for it. You can't do a Control F with a textbook, a physical textbook in front of you, right? And find certain things, keywords, sections, or whatever. Sure, you could flip pages in a physical book, but it's much easier to find stuff on the internet. I mean, unequivocally. And textbooks have to be updated however many years, depending on what subject or subjects are in the textbook. The internet, you can update in real time. So I just... And then there's the whole paper bit of it. Yeah, I know, I feel bad for Dunder Mifflin also. But it's expensive. It's expensive. I mean, literally, I in college made a few extra bucks here and there at the end of every semester because I would fucking walk around the floors and look for textbooks that people were just throwing out, not realizing that you could trade them back in to the school bookstore and get either credit or cash. Like, I made hundreds of dollars every semester doing that. Luckily now most colleges, not most, but certainly a number of colleges are switching over to tablets. Bella is going back to grad school. Actually, she just started this week. She's going to nurse practitioner school, and the school is issuing everybody iPads, which is awesome. The school is issuing all the students iPads because they want to make sure. Because look, a lot of people that go to nurse practitioner grad school, they're taking out a good amount of loans. They might already have them from undergrad as well. So I guess the program wants to make sure that all their students have the same hardware, the same software, and have it gratis, which means free. So I think that's awesome. But that just shows you that a number of schools are headed in that direction if they are not already there. It's the digital age, it's so. But again, I mean, that's logical, right? Switching from physical textbooks to tablets or computers or whatever. I mean, you can't go to a classroom without seeing probably everybody in the class without a laptop or a tablet of some sort. Back in my day, when I went to college, we did everything with physical textbooks. Wasn't even that long ago. I graduated college in 2009. But, then you need broadband infrastructure. If someone is trying to put themselves through, just for argument's sake, grad school, nurse practitioner school, and say they live in an area that does not have 5G LTE towers, does not have good broadband access and connections, and especially during COVID, a lot of these programs are blended. They're blended programs, so it's part in-person, part virtual. And if they don't have an internet connection, they can't do that. I firmly believe that broadband infrastructure is an extremely important part of any infrastructure bill. Again, while I understand and support the fact that elderly and childcare are very important issues, I do not believe that they belong in an infrastructure bill. Anyway, enough about that shit. It is the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, and I did say it before, but I'll say it again, everybody have fun, but stay safe. I will be going out east to Los Hamptons, even though the weather is going to be shit. Yeah, I did time out on that, by the way. I could not get, what's her name? Acolyte. I'll be going out east. Hopefully the weather holds up. It did rain a good bit yesterday, as I had hoped. Hopefully it got a little bit out of its system. Currently it is slated to still rain most of the weekend, which sucks donkey balls, but what are you going to do? It's been fucking hot here, man. Considering it's not even June yet, it has been fucking hot. A couple of days of 90 plus, a few more days of 80 plus. Give me 75 and sunny year round. That's why I love San Diego. It's 75 to 85 and sunny all year round. Actually, no, that's not true. Sometimes it goes down to the 60s. But it's still really nice. I love San Diego. Yep, that's really all I got. I don't really have anything new. Like I said, I didn't really get to watch the markets a whole lot, so I missed out on a lot of news there, and certainly be trying to catch up on some of those articles and some of that light reading after I finish up this video. But we're almost there because we're into Ray. So basically you have to kill JTR quick, fast, and in a hurry. And then you just very, very slowly go after JTR bit by bit, bit by bit by bit. Yeah, it's not easy. It can be very frustrating, but it does work. And again, like I said, I had more luck with old Ben, because every now and then I can do this swipe and ability block everybody, maybe remove some turn meter, which you need. Just gotta keep ability block on Ray as much as you can so she's not whirlwinding and shit. Luckily, she's not going to go as often. You're going to go way more often. And here you go. Look at that. And then after that, it's pretty simple. It's fairly easy cleanup. Rox, what are you doing, man? She's like burrowing in the couch. Jesus. Yeah, so I somehow got this one fairly cleanly. But of course, I gotta make sure, that I get everything. And look at that. I got lucky. All right, see you soon.